Last time on Square Roots, we put 2 and 2 together with some spear break, decommission some machina, teach some manners to a bad kitty, and learn that Logos is an ass man. I guess it's time to save the world now, or whatever. Fine.
What can I do for you? 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 I can't hear you. What can I do for you? What can I do for you? What can I do for you?
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Square Roots, the classic RPG podcast. I'm your host. I'm Vanessa. And I'm joined by my co-hosts, Johnny Thousand Words Brandon.
Matt requested that my nickname be Penis John Has a Penis.
Matt requested that was the title of the last episode, and John rightfully shot me down.
Good choice, John. And also here is Matt. Has
It's
a
me.
penis?
It's a Mattio.
Matt?
What's
Maybe.
up?
Nothing.
What? Who?
I'm androgynous. You'll never know.
He's just a Ken doll down there.
I'll never tell. So, what is a Square Roots podcast, Vanessa?
Oh, jeez. All right. This is the podcast where we play classic RPGs and talk about them one chonker at a time.
I thought it was a podcast where we talked about himbos.
We do talk a lot about himbos. Unfortunately, our resident himbo, Jim Banks, is not here this week.
Jim decided that he hates this game and refuses to play it, and that's why he's not here, and I'm not far behind him, folks.
That's not what Jim decided. Well, at least not what he's told us he's decided. Jim is quote-unquote busy. Busy not playing this game. And, what did I say already? We talk Square Roots.
Classic RPGs.
I've had to host like 3 weeks in a row. It's hard.
One
This
chonker
isn't
at a
my
time.
natural position.
Well, what are we playing, Vanessa?
Final Fantasy X-2. Yuna's Revenge.
Yay!
This is our penultimate episode, I believe.
Yes.
Yuna's Revenge.
It kind of is.
Yeah, I don't know.
Traditionally, our penultimate episodes of the show have been very good quality episodes, so step it up, fellas.
I will bring my gay game.
Hey.
So anyway, this week we're talking about Persona 4! That's right.
Nope.
It's
Nope.
Persona 4 Episode
Nope.
1.
Nope.
Wait, then why did I not play Final Fantasy X and instead played Persona 4?
Well, that was a personal choice.
I played
Seems
it.
likely, Vanessa.
I played it all the time.
Persona 4?
I love Final Fantasy X too. And I love
Great.
Persona 4. Those are the two things that I love.
Aw.
Fallout?
Yeah, I love Fallout.
Dragon
I love
Age?
Dragon Age.
Character actor Raphael Savarge.
I love character
Knights of
actor
the Old
Raphael
Republic.
Savarge. I don't think his name is actually Raphael
Mass Effect.
Savarge. I think it's like Rafe, but you know, whatever. I love Mass Effect. I love what else do I
KOTOR.
love? I love KOTOR. I love Macat.
Dress Spheres.
I love Dress Spheres. I really do.
Yeah, I'm like maxing out Kitty Cat Sphere, and it's the best sphere, like with evade and counter and stuff. It's like,
Right?
all these, like, there's a couple of them that their ultimate abilities are like, don't take damage and kill everything.
My attention span is gone. Like, gone. I tried to watch the new Hannah Gadsby special on Netflix. I made it through maybe like 15 minutes, and it was good. I was really enjoying it. But, like, my mind just drifts away.
Hey, speaking of things that you've watched and done, Vanessa, why don't you tell us how you leveled up?
Okay, for sure. I leveled up by listening to some podcasts. Yeah, that's right. I listen to podcasts. I'm not just a podcast creator. I'm a podcast consumer. I have been listening to Larry Wilmore's podcast. You may remember him from The Daily Show. or the Larry Wilmore Show. His podcast is called Larry Wilmore, Black on the Air. And he talks about current events and things like that. I've been listening to a podcast called Yo, Is This Racist? On Earwolf. It's a podcast for white people to listen to find out if what they are doing is racist. Most of the time, spoiler alert, the answer is yes. And I have been listening to all of the Pod Save family. That's Pod Save America, Pod Save the World, Pod Save the People, and honorary mention to Love It or Leave It. That's most of what I've been consuming. Ooh, I also want to give a shout out to Black Men Can't Jump in Hollywood, which is a movie podcast about movies that feature black actors in the lead or supporting lead role. And it's very funny and fun. That's how I have been leveling up. Johnny Brandon, how have you leveled up?
I've been leveling up by, watching the news and Twitter nonstop. I probably shouldn't be doing that, but I don't know. I think it's important to
Leveling down.
yeah.
It's such a balance because I live in a major metropolitan area of these United States of America, and I really want to know what's going on in my community. But I also fall into the trap of staying up till 4 a.m. looking at what's going on, and that probably is not healthy for me.
Right. I agree. I would like to say that everyone here is definitely supporting the protests and that Black Lives Matter. And there is a major problem, not just in the United States, but globally, including Canada, with police violence against people of color and Black people specifically. And yeah, it's a thing that is not easily solved. Words without backing don't help it, so I'm trying to do what I can. I am terrified of protesting, so I won't be doing that, but I am supporting local stuff and some American stuff even. Although I do try to keep it local, because I think that that is where most of the work should be done, is with your community and getting to know your community.
Yeah, I totally agree. The aforementioned Larry Wilmore on his podcast today had a great phrase, which I'm just going to steal away, taking the words right out of a black man's throat and putting them into mine, but I am crediting him. He was talking about this phrase that we hear, it's a few bad apples, and he said, it's not a few bad apples, it's soil rot in the orchard. And I thought that was a wonderful phrase and a wonderful way to look at it. We really have to start digging and replacing the foundation of some things.
Yeah, I think...
Everybody loves to use that phrase, a few bad apples, and nobody likes to finish the phrase, which is that a few bad apples spoil the bunch. And the whole goddamn bunch is spoiled. Sorry, that's the truth. It is what it is. Right? Am I right?
I agree. I think
all cops are bad.
I think that we need to be looking at options for defunding and disarming police forces. But if you like this podcast, I would recommend, I believe it's called Live from the Pool House, which has hosts T.L. Foster, who is a Black American man, and Sonia Ballantyne, who is an Indigenous Canadian woman. And it's very fun and funny, but also not afraid to talk about issues that I am not qualified to really get into.
Vaginas.
Well, that's part of it.
Here on this show, we are barely qualified to talk about video games.
We are unqualified. Very specifically
we're unqualified
to talk
what
about
qualifications do I have other than the fact that I do talk about video games?
I have been playing Persona 5. I got past the third palace, Matt. Piggytron is my favorite boss of all time. Do you remember Piggytron?
I feel like we talked about this last week. What I'm curious about is how you think you're going to play Persona 3, Persona 4, and Persona 5 at the same time.
No, I think this was... I killed Piggytron after we recorded last time.
Piggytron was pretty fucking great. And I knew that Piggytron would be a boss that you loved.
Yeah.
And I believe that I yelled at you at the time and told you, when I played it, and told you that you needed to play it. And play
Piggytron is hilarious. And I like Makoto a lot. And I've also been playing XCOM 2. My brother gave me a code I think he got from a Humby Bundy. Humble Bumble. And that game is a lot of fun, but I die a lot. But it's very satisfying to finish a very hard mission.
John, did you know that Bumbles bounce?
Bumbles bounce?
Yeah.
I don't know what that means. But how did you level up, Matt?
Ooh, y'all had some good things to say, and I hesitate to be the last person on the podcast to have a bunch of opinions about things. So instead, I'll just say that I read a book series. I read an entire book series since the last time we recorded. It was a trilogy of books. It was called the Interdependency series. I don't remember what the sequence, maybe? I don't know. It was dumb. And the first book was called The Collapsing Empire. And the books were written by, John Scalzi, who's actually a real, raging, screaming progressive on Twitter. And this series does feel like it was written, from that. Like it's very, what did I send to you all? The dedication on the third book was like, for all the women that have had enough or something like that.
That's me.
I know.
That book's dedicated to me.
It is. Of the three, of the main cast, the majority of the main characters were women and people of color. And though it didn't really dive into that, so maybe I'm assuming a little bit, but, it was a great sci-fi action-y kind of romp of a series, a trilogy. I had a good time. I think I convinced John to buy it.
I'm going to, how do I spell the author's last name?
Scalzi is Scalzi.
Scalzi.
It had my new favorite character that I've read in a series of books. Her name was Kiva. She was an ass-kicking, kind of sex-obsessed, foul-mouthed, smart-ass, just the type of character that I love. A real Spider-Man or Harry Dresden or what have you.
Spider-Man? Is Spider-Man obsessed with sex?
No, Spider-Man is a real wisecracker. Spider-Man is a real wisecracker, and sometimes it feels like the modern action hero is just very heavily patterned after Spider-Man. You know what I mean? That's how I see it.
It's because Iron Man became Spider-Man because Marvel couldn't make a Spider-Man movie.
It's true. And that was probably for the best. Most of those characters can be Spider-Man in their own books because wisecracking superheroes are
it's the best.
The best.
Nobody wants to read about Batman brooding around the house for 60 pages. I've done it.
Anyway,
I've read Arkham Asylum and all that shit.
The Interdependency series, it's a fun sci-fi space opera novel by a great modern writer, with a diverse cast and fun, entertaining dialogue and writing characters. And it is about a far future space empire of humans, human space empire that is collapsing. Bum, bum, bum. That's why the first book is called The Collapsing Empire. And it is about the last ruler of this empire and the people around her. And, as it all falls apart and as she does what she can to save, who she can. It's, pretty great. So check that out. That's Matt's level up, I guess, recommendation.
My library has both, the second and third book, but not The Collapsing Empire.
Of course.
Why would they do that?
Of course. Because somebody else was interested in it and thought, ooh, I'll check out the first book.
But it's not there. It's not like we don't have it.
Oh, it's not checked out. They just don't have a copy.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes it's okay to support your authors that you like. They don't make a lot of money, it turns out, these days. So that's how I leveled up. John Scalzi, send him a donation. Buy him a cup of coffee. And you know what that means. It's time for mission time. Mission time. It's time for mission time. Mission time.
We all
Johnny's
like mission time. Mission
Mission
time.
time.
I really
Mission
do.
time. It's time for chapters 3 and 4 of Final Fantasy X-2.
The end of 3. We already did the first half of 3 with all the nonsense.
All the nonsense. I went back. I grinded for like 2 fucking hours. I went back to fight Yojimbo again and reclaim my rightful place as ruler of this world. And he party wiped me like 3 times in a row.
Wow, get
was
good,
like-
Nooj.
Yeah, I can't do it. Can't win.
I can not win with a psychic and a beastmaster. What are they called? The cat,
A
the kitty cat,
berserker.
a berserker in my party. The berserker both of them can opt out of taking damage, which is crazy. So I have those, and then I have the alchemist, who is just like a chemist, like someone using items, but one of their abilities is just to use free items, including ethers and everything, and that's pretty overpowered, and they can like pull out X potions and mega potions, whatever they want for free.
Yeah, it's bananas. There is no balance in between classes in this game. Don't think that like some are as good as others. A gunner
No.
is useless.
Yes. Gunner.
Well, all the starting classes get pretty useless eventually, right? Like, who's still using Thief and Warrior?
I never used Thief once in this game.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't very good. But yeah, I really like Berserker. I really like Psychic. I'm going to try Trainer just to see it, but I haven't maxed out Psychic on Yuna and Berserker on Riku yet. So as soon as those are done. But Alchemist, real good class.
Yeah. This is what somebody with Stockholm Syndrome sounds like, listeners. Somebody that has, like, roped it, like, is forced into doing something to the point that they've convinced themselves that it's good. Let me assure you, if you've somehow made it this far into this series and have not forced this game upon yourself, don't. It's not
I
good.
think the game gets good now. Story-wise, I think that this is the chunk where the story gets really interesting.
That's the worst, is when these games are 40 hours of bullshit and then like, hey, it gets good. It's like it's like Final Fantasy 13, where everybody was like, if you get 40 hours into it, it opens up. Get the
Yep.
fuck out of here.
Yeah, I think I'm 30 something hours into this game, and it's like, oh, hey, now it's fun. So let's talk about it. So, remember last time the sphere was in trouble because fiends were pouring out of every temple, and we were like, yeah, but we got other things to do. We gotta like romance some monkeys and,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, remember how we made all those monkeys fuck?
yeah, and do all the other weird side stuff. So this time, we'll take a look at the temples, the hotspot ones, like Besaid. So if you get to Besaid, Beklem is a youth league guy, and he wants to burn down the temple because fiends are coming out of it. Waka is against it. But then,
Beklem sucks. Beklem is the guy who wanted us to run his gauntlet, and he was like, summoners are worthless. You're a twat.
he's not great. I gotta say that.
And to be clear, I only use that term because it's used in the game, according to John.
Wait, which part?
I'm not going to repeat it. I already said it once.
Sucks?
No, I used a slur against women.
Oh. So Waka is, he tries to convince Beklem not to go burn down the temple, so Waka goes inside to fight himself. Waka is no longer good, even though he has a blitzball that can destroy every monster.
Yeah, I defeated all of Sin just by having Waka throw his magic blitzball at things. But as we know, Waka has gotten fat and is therefore valueless.
How dare you?
That's how society works.
How
I didn't make the rules.
dare you?
Look it up.
Are you saying Ormi doesn't have valor,
Yeah.
honor, value. That's
Yep.
the word I'm looking for.
Ormy is riding on Logos' coattails.
Wow.
Army is trash.
He is not. So you go inside, you help Waka by fighting Valafor, who is another one of he's the sort of Bahamut-y, dragony one.
He was Yuna's very first summon in Final Fantasy X.
She's not happy about having to fight him, but once you do, you see there's a big hole in the temple, and that's where the fiends are coming from, but destroying Valafor seems to have helped, so that's good. Also, if you got that key from the Saving People side quest in Yojimbo's temple there, you can get
The Sade key.
you can get a set of ciphers, which is pretty fun. Oh, did you read that comment that you can actually you can mid-mission before fighting Yojimbo go out and save? You could just resume where you were in that mission? Because the game makes it seem like
I actually figured that out for myself, and it still didn't matter. I still got one party wiped.
you gotta work on your team comp.
Good. Matt.
So this set of ciphers, you know how that first game sucked because it was just about jumping up and finding the ciphers hidden around the area? This one is really fun. It's like a Where's Waldo for spheres with numbers in it.
Yeah, first you have to walk around holding down your essentially metal detector. And
That's the search sphere.
Yeah.
Sphere you find. It's in this
Find a
temple.
search sphere, you look it up, you find the spot where it pings, you dig, then you find another sphere in the ground, and it's a spyglass sphere, I guess we want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
And you look through that and look all around until you find a number sphere, which is usually like sitting in a tree or way high up on a cliff, and you zoom in on it, and that has a number on it. Unfortunately, the number font in this game is terrible.
1 looks like
It
a 7.
is.
It looks like a 7, but it's a 1.
Yes, and the 5 and the 2 look almost identical. Like, I had to go online and look at the fonts to understand what kind of number I was looking at. I was looking at a 4, and it made no sense.
Yeah.
It's, but I really like this kind of dumb look for something mini game. I don't know why. Maybe I should play more of those hidden object games because I really like this.
I don't like those.
But they're made for women.
Hey, 18 teapots. 1, 2, 3.
What?
Oh, you found a teapot. Now we can advance the murder mystery. It makes no sense.
Why is she yelling at us?
I don't know.
I have a lot of feelings.
I was thinking about how you and I can play. Like, I want to legit us play through Gabriel Knight, all 1, 2, and 3 sometime.
That would be fun.
We'll have to figure out a Sierra Roots way of doing that.
Yeah, we'll do it the Sierra Roots way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you get these ciphers. They unlock that door that was in that other behind that first set of ciphers door, and the reward are some ethers and a garment grid. Come on.
Yes.
You
So
go
much
through
of this
all
fucking
of that.
game.
So, Kilika Temple. The path to get to Kilika Temple is blocked because there's currently a fight between New Yevon and the Youth League. But Donna, it is pronounced Donna. I always think it's Donna, but it's Donna.
Yeah.
Like they say it.
It's because of the way the guy says it.
Donna.
Yeah.
So Donna does not want to get involved in the fight, except she kind of does, because she's kind of separated from Bartholo. He is on the other side. He is with New Yevon at the temple, and she's over here, and she's like, she's not helping, but she's helping, if you know what I mean. Like,
yeah, she's like, I don't care, but I guess if you wanted, I could talk to the guard and distract him.
you know,
Whatever.
I know a couple that are like this, where the one woman's like, I don't even like him, he's stupid. But then they get back together like a month later every time they break up. I feel like that's what Donna and Bartholo are like.
I think they're in a DS relationship that has bled out of the bedroom and into their everyday dynamic.
Right. Which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. As long as everyone is consenting and having a good time.
The thing is, I don't think you should bring other people into that.
I think you can definitely have dom sub stuff outside the bedroom as long as you aren't bugging other people with it. But she does offer a little bit of help. What she says she will do is she will distract guards at the door to Kilika Forest, which is the big hotbed being controlled by, I think, New Yemen? Right? Mm-hmm. And in terms of bad minigames, I would say this is very much up there. It is terrible.
Oh, I thought it was so easy.
I don't know. I didn't know when I should be pressing X. I got it right in the end when it came to the one chance you have to do it for real, but for the practice, like, I couldn't figure out the timing.
Oh, I just did it the first time.
Huh. Well, I was bad at it. You do get a item that lets you use Bushido moves anytime, which is weird because you get that. I think you get that sphere at this temple. Yeah, you do. I don't know why you get this item to use samurai moves before you even get the samurai thing. But
yeah, I noticed that too.
So you get in there. Barthelo is being attacked by a Deva, which is a weird, like, I don't know, it's kind of got that rigidy H.R. Geigery look that some of these enemies do. It's like a tall blue demon. And then you have to kill those to extinguish flames, which let you get through doors in the temple. And
yeah, there's a whole bunch of them.
Mm-hmm.
But they are very easy to kill.
And then you fight Ifrit.
Ah, good old Ifrit, my least favorite summon.
Oh, I like Ifrit.
I don't like it. It's a dog and some fire. I don't like dogs, and I don't like fire.
Aw. So that was the fairly uneventful one. So let's head over to Bevel Temple. Now, when you get there, you see that Gippal is already in the temple. Like, as soon as you get down into the real meat of the temple, like the first level of the basement.
Mm-hmm. Remember last week we went there and they were like, we don't need your help. Guess what? They do.
Oh, that's Josie Temple.
Oh.
This is Bevel.
What? Why is Gippal there then?
Because he's meeting up. Well, you follow him through the temple, and you see that he is there, meeting up with Baralai and Nooj.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Baralai says Vegnagun awakens when someone thinks of harming it.
What the fuck?
So, if someone thinks about destroying Vegnagun, that turns Vegnagun on. If you know what I mean.
What?
Yeah.
Yes. Vegnagun.
So who was trying to destroy Vegnagun?
It was me.
No, it was Nooj.
Oh,
No, it was us. We
it was
went
us
into
too,
the
though.
temple with this specific
I
plan to
know,
destroy
but
Vegnagun.
it wasn't. It was already gone by the time we got there.
Oh, that's
because of
true.
Nooj.
Yeah, because Nooj was there. He came to use it and destroy it.
What?
At the
Who was
same
he gonna use it
time.
on?
And this part gets a bit weird. Baralai basically then turns around and starts bringing up old stuff like, hey, Nooj, why'd you shoot me in the back? I can't trust you. And then Nooj gets weird, and he's like, I had to do it. And everyone starts pointing guns at each other. Nooj apparently shot Pain as well. So Nooj, Baralai, and Gippal are all like in a three-way standoff, guns to each other's head. And then Nooj says, I made him do it, but his voice is like doubled. There's someone else's voice going on at the same time.
Is it Yevon?
No, the spirit
Does
leaves
he have
him.
the flea?
And then the spirit is suddenly in Baralai, and Baralai's doing this double talking thing too. And Baralai summons a Marlborough because the ladies, interrupt. And they have to fight a Marlborough. It is super easy. It isn't like a difficult Marlborough. And then
They
Baralai...
can be difficult. Do you remember in Final Fantasy X Part 1 when I got party wiped by a Marlboro because it, confused my whole party?
Oh, boy.
And then slowly picked us off?
Well, this point, if you...
I get scared every time I run into a Marlboro in the wild in
They're
this game.
scary. They're like,
Legitimately.
But fortunately, they're, I think, isn't psychic, resistant to any kind of status effect, too?
it seems to be.
Oh,
It's
no, that's if you have the
resistant to
ribbon
everything.
equipped.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Right.
Yeah, so you fight this Marlboro. Baralai escapes, and Nooj and Gippal follow him. Payne says, yeah, Nooj did shoot me, but I think it was an accident. I don't really want to talk about it. And Una says, that's cool. We'll wait till you're ready.
Yeah. Payne is it's starting, at first I was going to respect Payne has her past. She wants to keep it private. That's fine. She seems to be very entangled with the main players in this global calamity, and maybe it's worth bringing up that relationship.
Maybe.
It's if Putin and Trump were around and you used to hang out with them, and then you were gonna try to go stop them, and
Yeah.
Trudeau was like, "Hey, do you know Putin and Trump?" And you can be like,
So, you also get another Crimson Sphere. And I believe or Crimson Record Sphere. And I think this one shows how that Baralai, Gippal, and Nooj all knew each other back in, the Crimson Guard. Or, what were those? Were they called Crimson Guard?
The Crimson Guard.
Those are the
They were
bad guys
sort
from
of
G.I.
the
Joe.
Crusaders, though, right?
Yeah, but it was a special branch, Crimson Scouts or something. Yeah, they were a special branch of the Crusaders. They're going to be leaders of, they're trying to recruit the leaders for every chapter of the Crusaders and trying to find the best ones. And, back to Zanarkand. Isaiah says it's fine. He's got the Zanarkand situation under control. Sid ran away, but he feels like it's his duty, cause he was defiling the place to take care of the fiends there. So that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Josie Temple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is where they were like, we don't need your help.
It is.
Yeah. But they do.
They now do need your help because all of the Albed that were trying to take care of things in Josie Temple have been pushed back. So you try to save some people in there. They've all been electrocuted by a lightning horse, but they're all okay. And, someone says that this, summoning thing, Aeon, has been merged with Machina a bit. And that's made it extra dangerous. You have to push some pedestals to unlock a lightning gate. And when you do, you go upstairs and Ixion attacks. And Ixion's like a mecha Ixion, kinda.
Yeah, this was kind of cool, I guess. Something different.
Yeah. I mean, it's still reusing assets from Final Fantasy X-2, or X-1, but that's fine. That's fine. So you defeat Ixion. And there's another hole here, just like all the other ones, except this time Ixion explodes, pushing Una accidentally into the hole.
Into the hole with you.
And, yeah, well, it's the hole in the Josie Temple. And you find out this hole leads you all the way to the far plane.
Excuse me, what?
The far plane.
So I know that the far plane is where people go when they die. And I know that there's a entrance to it in Guado Salam.
Yeah.
And it seems to be not necessarily the actual dead people, though. It's just the memories of dead people. The spirits form memories based on who's there looking at them.
That sounds good to me. I don't know if it's true. I get very confused.
How can it be down a hole?
Well, the chamber, these temples of the faith were created, near sites where you're very close to the far plane? I don't know. I'm making this up. Does that sound good?
Yeah, that sounds really good, actually. Good explanation.
Okay. Because that's where the Aeons are closest, because they need the faith to stick around. I don't know. So you get Yuna falling down. It's all white. Eventually she falls far enough that she is in a dreamlike area with like floating natural structures like waterfalls and rocks and grass. And she falls down there and she sees him. It's him.
Who?
Is it Titus?
Who?
But he sees her and he's like, "Hey, Len."
Yeah, he's like, "I've been waiting for you, Len."
And Yuna says, "Hey, I'm not Len." And he approaches her and suddenly her regular clothes turn into her dancer dress sphere clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, well, he holds her close. And he's like, I've done this all for you. There's 1,000 years and nothing's changed. People are still fighting. He's like, "My name's Shuyin. And, I know that I can make all this conflict go away with Vecna gun." And when he holds her, Yuna starts crying and is like, whose feelings are these? Cause she doesn't want to at first she doesn't want him to touch her. But when he does, she suddenly feels like someone else who wants to be held by him.
I know what's going on.
I mean, I know what's going on too, I think. But it's more explained in the next chapter, right?
I guess that's true. So I'll save my fan theories.
Well, no. Well, let's hear your fan theories.
You remember that game Prey 2016 or whenever it came out?
Yes.
Is that the Bible Adventures game? Where
The
you
Bible
can
Adventure game
put all the
Prey
game,
from
put
Obsidian.
all the aminals on Noah's Ark?
It's the one where you go to the Ark in space and you shoot goopy goops.
Just like Jesus did.
Yeah. So
That's why it's called Prey.
Yeah. These people in Prey, they were making special skill chips to implant in people's heads. But how they made them is they got someone with special skills to come in and then, copied their heads into the skill chip. So I do believe that this Songstress Dress Sphere is a copy of Len.
Ooh. Okay. Well, we'll find out more about that next chapter. But first, then she's getting all wrapped up with the emotions of Len as Shuyin is holding her, and suddenly someone says, "Open your eyes," and she does. I think it was Gippal talking. It's Nooj that says, "Open your eyes." She opens her eyes, and it is not Shuyin. It is not Titus. It is Baralai holding her.
Yeah, she's been snugging with the head of New Yevon.
Mm-hmm. And Baralai walks away dramatically and says, "The end is not far now." And runs off. And then Nooj and Gippal are like, "Hey, sorry about that. That's weird. Here is a Crimson record," and each of them have one, and they say to give them to Pain because they know that Pain is looking for them, and they run off after Baralai.
Yeah, and Nooj is like, take care of the above world. We got this. Bye.
Right. That is an important thing.
I kind of like that these guys have been having their own world-saving quest. Well, we just, putz around, and we've kind of stumbled into their business.
Mm-hmm. I have so many questions about what they're doing and why they all, after this weird accident, got into positions of prominence around the world, controlling every the Machine faction, New Yevon, and the Youth League.
Who knows? They must have their reasons for it.
So they go run after that, and then suddenly Yuna is in a one-woman show. She's getting some interior monologue about how she, he isn't here, and she's all alone, and she starts breaking down and screaming. It looks like a real, off-Broadway, one-woman emotional experience.
Mm-hmm. And the game does nothing to indicate this for you. But if you want the 100% super good ending, you have to start button mashing.
Button mashing? But why?
I have no idea because I did not do this. I only learned about it ipso facto, and it's like you have to wander around and press X until you hear 4 whistles.
Well,
for some reason.
The whistling is like a whistle for me and I'll come for you thing. So it's like a romantic and deep connection with Titus that is established in the first game. And I like that it gets a callback here. Mm-hmm. That he is whistling for her here in the far plane. And you see like the glowing outline of Titus. So I went back and I had to go redo the entire Josie Temple because I wanted to get this. And I did get it in the end. But it is like a 15-second cutscene of her chasing after the glowing outline of Titus until everything fades to white.
I just realized I said ipso facto instead of post facto like a big dummy.
I really didn't want to correct you on that, Vanessa. You know how bad it would have been if I was like, Vanessa, don't you mean post facto?
Oh, now I sound like a dumb.
No, you don't.
Brainy no work good this week.
Vanessa have a hard time understanding you now.
Brainy try to work so hard. What is a video game? Why buttons? And if they're buttons, where's the shirt?
Yeah, so, you reappear in Bevel, of all places, on that, like, platform where we tried to fight Vegnagun last time. And, there's one of those recorders floating around you. Oh, by the way, all through chapter 3, you have been, like, there's been lots of fights and these recorders are there. And if you use anything other than attack on them, they will train, I think, the weapon in the desert, like a boss coming up later with attacks.
Oh, is that what they do?
Yeah, they'll like give immunity to whatever you use against them, unless it's a regular attack.
Oh, well, now I know.
I feel like it's the monster in the desert, but I'm not totally sure.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But there's one of those floating around you, but Buddy's on the other end, and Yuna's like, hey, I'm here, and everyone's real excited that you're still alive, especially Brother.
Yuna
not dead!
Let me see her!
Chapter 4.
What can I do for you?
So, Yuna walks in, Brother is all screaming and stupid, and Yuna's like, hey, I think Len is the girl from my dress sphere. Does that make sense? Can girls be in my dress sphere? And Yuna's like, yeah, her memories are like contained in your dress sphere. And Yuna's like,
so many implications to this.
Uh-huh.
Does every dress sphere we've been using have someone's memories in it?
I think so.
If you use them too long, does it like create personality bleed? Do you lose
know.
yourself?
Are they the memories of the person who took the video?
Dress sphere, I guess it is a video, right? But
it
also
seems
a clothes.
to like kind of have a supernatural connection with the user, which does explain who was performing at the first concert. Because if you remember, that dress sphere was stolen by LeBlanc, and that was the one who put on the concert. So could it be that Len was performing, controlling, or at least being channeled through LeBlanc a bit?
Maybe?
Yeah. I'm getting a real, especially by the end of this chapter, like a real Anne Rice gothic romance mixed with science fiction.
It's
and
very odd.
I love it. Like, it's not like anything we've really played before.
One of our listeners did point out that the Lady Luck dress sphere is a lot like what LeBlanc wears, but Riku, Yuna, and Pain all have the spade, the club, and the diamond
do.
instead of a heart on their chest. So is that dress sphere made from LeBlanc?
I wonder if it's like, it's captured an essence of LeBlanc, and that's what they can use to attack. I think you might be right.
How fascinating.
There's a lot of, I do like that they aren't just like hitting you over the head with exposition on what all this means, but it is kind of, I think Nomura and, what's his name? Kitase and Ojima? I can't remember who the other guy is. They kind of do this with Kingdom Hearts a lot, where they introduce really interesting ideas, but then don't explain or use them. I don't know, but I like it. I like that it's turned into this weird gothic supernatural romance. Especially
Yes.
with the concert.
Yes.
So it's got the two boys in the car and they fight vampires now?
Yes.
Awesome.
More Anne Rice-y than Supernatural, the TV show.
So more like Supernatural, the fan fiction.
Yeah, exactly. So, since Nooj and Gippal say they're handling the situation with Shuyin, and Yuna fills in everyone on what happened to her, they're like, well, what should we do? And you go up, Pain is standing by herself on the like bow of the Celsius. You can talk to her, and she's like, well, so there were selection candidates for the Crimson Squad. Gippal, Nooj, and Baralai. I was their recorder. Most of the candidates died in an accident 2 years ago. When that happened, Pain, even though she was there, she doesn't understand what happened. She wanted to solve the mystery of it. So she became a sphere hunter to get answers as to what happened. So that's why Pain joined up. And then, Pain kind of talks about how she might leave, and Riku, I think Pain is at this point just teasing Riku about wanting to leave. So Riku starts
it was sort of
flipping
strange.
out. Pain, then goes back into the ship. Riku follows her, and Riku's like, well, you're not leaving, are you? And Pain's like, I don't know. And then she finally breaks down and says, all right, Riku, I might not look it, but I'm having a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I really like that moment.
Yeah, she loves being a gull-wing.
Yeah. And Shinra's like, hey, I know you guys are having a moment here, but Spira is falling apart right now. And Brother's like, well, should we go and smash the people? Should we go wreck everybody? And he was like, you know what? I don't want to fight. We're not going to fight. That won't solve anything. What we're going to do is bring people back together. We are, I don't know, what's a good idea? And Brother's like, you could be singing and dancing.
Yeah.
Oh,
which is everyone's idea for Yuna all the time.
Because Pain's like, well, what are you going to do? Bring everyone together by singing Kumbaya? And Brother's like, yes, Yuna, sing and dance and everyone will be so enamored they will stop fighting.
She'll sing her la 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 la.
Exactly. At this point, Shinra tells you last chapter, Shinra was putting around all these comm spheres around different points in Spira. And now you can go and check out all the comm spheres he laid out. There are, I think, literally 80 cutscenes you can watch here. Mm-hmm. And it divides them in half. Right now there's 40. And then after the moon flow, there's another 40. But I kind of wish these are pretty fun for the most part. I wish it had been spread out more throughout the game, so you didn't have to like sit for an hour and a half each, 40 of them. So 3 hours total to watch all these cutscenes, because most of them are like people waving at the camera.
The worst part is that when you do like a video call with someone, it connects and then you have to watch them walk slowly towards the camera before they actually talk to you.
Well, because
it's
you
like
have
if
full
you
control of the camera, so like to
Yeah.
activate the cutscene, you have to like zoom in on them until they notice you.
right.
Oh, hi! I didn't see you there. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's people, sometimes it's monsters, sometimes nothing's going on there. But let's talk about the best of them because there are 80 of these. I'm not going to talk about all of them.
All right, what was your favorite?
The Mihen High Road Mystery.
Oh yeah.
This is pretty
Man,
good.
This is a long bit of business.
It's like a night trap where you get 8 different cameras along the Mihen High Road and you can watch different scenes. And I didn't realize until way too late that you can hit circle to go get Rin to investigate what's going on.
Yeah.
So I don't think he says I got enough evidence, but depending on what you look at, you'll get a different suspect at the end.
And things change too.
Yeah, there's 3 sets of circumstance, like 3 stages to it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's different things happening at each one, and you can like comment or not comment and observe different things happening. Cause basically they're trying to figure out who is, attacking chocobos.
Well, they want to figure out who messed with the Machina, who attacked the hovercraft. Like, there's a whole bunch of different mysteries going on.
Right. And like there's a bunch of different people that you can. I didn't get a resolution. I feel like, is that in chapter 5 where you find out
That's
the
in
end?
Chapter 5, yeah.
Okay.
When the mystery is finally revealed. I saw some good stuff. I saw a young girl fiddling with the Machina control panel.
I saw the chocobo eater doing the same.
I saw the prophet proselytizing to the chocobo eater, which was pretty fun.
Yep. I saw some chocobo feathers fall mysteriously.
I saw a bunch of people standing in a group, chit-chatting with each other.
I saw Rin talking to I think that lady, the one who was messing with the controller.
I saw some guys just sitting around by themselves.
So I think once you see all this stuff, once you've compiled enough evidence, it will come back in chapter 5. So we'll get back to this.
It's very exciting.
It was I enjoyed this dumb mini game.
I liked it.
Yeah. Other best of Comspheres. If you try to talk to Barthelo, he gets so sad about missing Donna that he destroys the Comsphere.
Oh no!
Oh, no.
You also get Donna missing, both missing and pretending not to be missing Barthelo. That was pretty great. Mm-hmm. You can see Ormy flexing for the camera.
Can you?
Yeah.
That must have been very exciting for you.
Well, I mean, it's just his like stance. Mm-hmm. He does a pose for the camera. That one's fun. You also get like all of LeBlanc's guards talking about how maybe they should go join the Gull Wings and stuff. There's a lot of fun stuff there. In the Thunder Plains, if you find a chocobo, Shinra's like, "Oh, I developed something else. It's called the Choco Porter. Let me show you." And then he just teleports a chocobo to your ship.
And then it's just on your ship for the rest of the game, as far as I can tell.
Well, I found a second chocobo, and he's teleported that one, but then it broke.
Aww.
So you can only get 2 chocobos that way. If you go look at the cactuar in Bicadel Desert, Yuna tries talking to it, but no luck. You do hear the cactuar talking to her, going like, I love that one.
Yeah, but she does not speak cactuar.
No. And you see many people taking baths at the hot springs.
Ooh.
I wasn't really utilizing the hot springs cam because I'm not a creeper. So what did you find out from the hot springs cam?
That Hypelos, like a pack of 10 of them, bathe there creepily. You see a Shoepuff bathe there. You see Donna bathing there, talking about how much she misses Baralai or Barthelo. You see Owaka's brother perving on some women.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Stuff like that. That was pretty fun.
When we got there before, we were like, oh, this sacred mountain hot springs. Can we really bathe there? Apparently all of Spira is bathing there.
Yes. Literally all, like, you see Isaru and Pache and the other guy bathing there, too.
The brothers.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, after you're done with the Comsphere, you head to the Moonflow because you're like, well, let's put on a concert, but we need Tobly because he's like king of promoters.
Is he?
He's really not, but he's the only one they know.
Mm-hmm.
So they go and try to find Tobly, but he's being chased by creditors.
Yes.
Eventually, you'll follow him up and down the Moonflow path.
This was an amazing bit of sequence.
He crosses the Moonflow. You have to go off after him.
We cannot gloss over how before he even crosses the Moonflow, he's running back and forth down the road. And at one point you're chasing the creditors who are chasing him. And then he comes over the horizon in a hovercraft and like zooms past everyone. Like he just picked up a car, which he then crashes into his performance cart and he runs away.
Yeah.
And everyone, you can talk to the people standing around and they're like, Tobly's insane. Like, did you see that? Like, what is he doing?
Finally, you got to cross the Moonflow. He was hiding in a tree, which his creditors did figure out, but I forget what dissuaded them from chasing him. Something.
I think they were just over it.
Oh, I think Tobly like falls on one of their heads, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're like, this is terrible. They do use a slur for a little person when they're chasing him, which I guess implies that he's not a child, as I theorized.
Right. They do say he has a beak, though. I don't know. I'm very confused as to if Tobly is human or not. He has a human little mouth.
He has a human mouth. He has a bird beak. We don't know what else is going on because he has a helmet. I thought his beak was like a costume, but they seem to imply it's a real beak.
It's very unclear.
I don't know.
He's like Shinra. He's all covered up.
No. So then back to Celsius. You can go listen to a whole new set of 40 comm spheres.
Oh, boy.
This time,
Why wouldn't you?
the best ones include Donna trying to send one to Barthelo, telling him how much she misses him. But so he finds it, but then gets upset and breaks it again. Mm-hmm. The Aurochs interview Waka about his impending fatherhood and whether he thinks he's having a boy or a girl. Nadala out in Bikanal Desert gets attacked by the big fiend I was talking about earlier. And so Yuna looks at Marnella again and then asks Shinra, hey, can you translate Cactuar like Benzo does? Cause they're both like little Shinra genius kids. And Shinra's like, no, I can't do it. I'm a little kid.
Yeah,
I do like that Shinra's using anytime Shinra forgets to tell you something, he's like, I'm just a kid.
Yeah. He's like, he is a self-proclaimed genius, and by all evidence, he is a genius, and seems to be the most competent person on the ship. But he does use the excuse a lot of, well, I'm just a kid.
Mm-hmm. Did you see the one where the kindergartners were really excited about the Consphere and Shinra's like, or they asked Shinra to show them how to build one? He's like, yeah, and then they're all going to hang out and play, basically.
Yay, he has friends.
Yay.
The kindergartenians continue to be amazing.
Yeah, they're pretty great. So Benzo shows up and starts translating what Marnella, the Cactuar, says, and Marnella says, oh, actually, Benzo wishes he was the smartest Shinra.
Aww.
And Benzo gets mad and breaks the Consphere.
Benzo!
Mm-hmm. So, after this, you can go to the Thunder Plains where the concert's about to take place, except a salamander is attacking people.
A salamander? Are you trying to say salamander?
Nope. It's a big dino.
Oh.
Big dino that you can kill. It's, you have to go through a little dungeon.
It was a teeny tiny little dungeon.
A teeny weeny little dungeon. And finally, it is concert time. You know what, Vanessa? Do you want to handle this?
I do, except I am ashamed to say, although I very much enjoyed the song that Una sings, I cannot remember it. As I said before, my attention span is like the length of I don't know what's something short, a sugar snap pea. It's the length of a sugar snap pea, and it goes something like 1,000 words. When I try to remember it, all I think of is that 1,000 Years song that was in the Twilight movie. That's like, I have died a million times waiting for you for 1,000 years. I've loved you for 1,000 years. It's sort of like that. John, how's it go?
I would walk 1,000 miles to just hear you. Just feel. No, that's a different song. That's a.
I would walk 500
Nope, not that one.
No?
Yeah, that's it.
Well, drop a clip in for our listeners so they know what song we're talking about.
It's definitely got this like 90s slow jam. I know that you're hiding things, using gentle words to shelter me. So I like that she's got this like slow jam, and she's like, this is a song about Spira. Mm-hmm. And it's not.
It's not at all. It's a love song.
It is a love song, so she starts singing it. But when she actually is like, you know, setting the stage for the songs, she's got the duplexed voice too.
Yeah, it's like she tells Riku before, because Riku's like, what are you going to sing? And she kind of hums this little thing. And then Riku's like, oh, cool song. Where'd you hear that? And she's like, I don't know, just kind of in my head. And then she's singing this song. Oh, they're singing it on the Thunder Plains on top of the Gullwing ship.
Yeah.
And all of Spira is there because they have flown around and gotten everyone. And there's a little cutscene of like, oh, you have to start the show because the audience is getting restless. The Youth League and New Yevon are down there and they're like yelling at each other. So she gets up. It's raining, as it always is on the Thunder Plains, with the thunder crashing. Not necessarily the best place to have this concert. They're having it there because they're like, where's a big space that we can have a concert? And
but there's less people there than could fit in the Luca auditorium, right?
Absolutely. Or I also might suggest the Calmlands.
Yeah,
you know, like
that's huge.
The big open calm space instead of the Thunder Plains.
It's far less dangerous.
Yeah.
And then suddenly you start seeing like Xanarkand.
Yeah, it's like I think first Lean kind of appears. So, like, she's singing, and then Lean kind of appears behind her and is harmonizing, and it turns into a duet.
A ghost backup singer.
And then we start seeing these images projected in the sky of Xanarkand, and it's like going all over the Thunder Plains. Everyone is losing their dang minds in the audience because they've never seen anything like it. Their spheres that they have, you have to remember, are like all crinkly, crackly, like very poor video quality. This is picture clear holograms, and it's gorgeous. So they flip out. We see the whole story of Lean and Shuyin, which Yuna saw before, of them running together and standing in front of the Vagna gun and looking at each other with love, and then these soldiers come and shoot them dead, and they fall to the ground, and Lean looks into Shuyin's dead eyes.
It was Yuna and Cloud, or not Cloud, Yuna and Tidus,
It was Yuna and Cloud.
Yeah,
it was Yuna and Final Fantasy VII's Cloud. That polygon model with the bowling pin arms.
Because Yuna dreamt about it, but I think she saw herself in the dream,
yeah,
right?
she saw herself in Tidus. And this time it's Lin and Shuyin. And Shuyin, is he meant to look exactly like Tidus? Because he does to me.
Yeah, they're very similar. Len looks a little bit different. She's got long hair.
Yeah, and she has a slightly different chin, but I swear that Shuyin is just Tidus.
Yeah. I feel like there's going to be more explanation of that later, but maybe not. Who knows?
We'll find out.
So yeah, you watch them get totally killed, and everyone's like real, like moved by it, and it's just
Yeah, you have to remember this is, as I said, like the first really clear movie they've ever seen. You know, so they
Yeah.
are just like the train is coming at the screen, and they are just like everyone. Their mind is blown. They haven't seen anything this significant since Sin.
so this creepy duet with a ghost singer goes through, and everyone loves it. Everyone's like hugging them. No, New Yevon hugging Youth League. It's brought everyone together.
Yeah, they have seen opening night of Hamilton, and they will never be the same.
Exactly. So you go back to the ship, and Mei Chen's there, and he's like, this was, Len was this figure in history, and she was killed when her and her lover were trying to seize the Vegna gun and, I think escape or something. And he's like, well, no one knows the name of her lover. And Yuna's like, well, it's Shuyin. He's like, okay, that sounds good. Sure, I'll go with that.
And I like how Riku is like, how do you know all of this? And he's like, I don't know.
But it seems like Shuyin is like, he's the one who was controlling Nooj, and he was the one who was controlling Baralai.
Yeah. So I guess he's a ghost, hop from person to person? Or else they put on his dress sphere? Like, I don't know.
But he bad, I think.
He's bad, but
he wants to use Vegna gun, which I think could destroy the world.
Yes, and he wants that because he's like, the world sucks, everyone just keeps fighting. Let's wipe it clean slate, which is kind of what Sin's deal was.
It's kind of a wild...
And Yuna realizes that she needs to talk to Shuyin because Len wanted to tell Shuyin she loved him, but he died before he could hear it.
Is it Vegna Gun that wants to wipe the world clean? Or is it...
No, Vegna Gun's a tool.
So who is it that wants to wipe the
Vegna
world
gun,
clean?
just a gun.
Shuyin.
Okay.
Who is like dark or alternate
So after
universe
like
Tidus.
700 years or whatever of Sin wiping everybody out every 10 minutes, somebody finally comes along and puts a stop to it, and this guy's like, too late for this fucking world. Now that everything's fine, I guess I'll just fucking blow it all up. Okay.
Well, I think it's more that Sin got wiped out, but it didn't solve conflict.
Oh.
And so he's like, oh, this sucks. We thought that it was Sin that was
They
like
dealt with
causing our
Sin.
problems, but it's really people.
Yeah, they dealt with Sin for so long that they forgot that human nature exists.
Yes, because when you're in crisis, it's like the crisis is just what you can deal with. But then afterwards, it's like, oh, now we have to actually do work and harmonize and things, and it's too hard.
So I think Yuna thinks that she can solve the situation somehow by talking to Len.
Because she
Or
kind of
talking
shares
as Len.
Len's feelings. Yeah. She's like, Len can talk Shuyin out of this because they're in love.
Also, the LeBlanc Syndicate is now in the basement of the Celsius, and they give you another sphere. And so if you watch all these spheres, it's like Pain and Baralai and Gippal and Nooj like hanging out and becoming friends. And at first, Nooj doesn't want to talk to anyone because he's something called like a Death Seeker.
Yeah, he has a death wish.
Yeah. And Pain becomes friends with all of them, but then you also see at the end them all like getting them exploring this cave that Kinnock, you remember, was like Maester Baby from the first one, the baby face
yeah,
Maester.
Maester Baby.
And he's there, and he's the one like telling them to go into this cave where they all get like, I think they all kind of get possessed by different faiths. That's what it looks like to me. So like, you know, the little floaty guys like Shuyin keep possessing people, and then they all attack each other.
I was thinking that like proximity to Vegnagun made them go crazy.
I thought I don't know. It seems like they were getting controlled by other people or like angry spirits. And that's what did it. But I could be, we haven't seen all the spheres yet, so I could be wrong. But that's really it. I'm here for this. I'm here for this Ann Rice nonsense.
Yeah, we have to see. I mean, we have Nooj, Baralai, and Gippal on the far plane trying to stop this ghost from using Vegnagun to destroy the world. We have Yuna. She has united Sphera through song, but she is also carrying the ghost of the lover of the guy who wants to destroy the world. And Pain, meanwhile, is best friends with these other three guys, and she feels some kind of responsibility to help them. And it's just like there's so much happening.
But why did they save all this plot for like the last 10 hours of the game?
I think it's been there the whole time. We just haven't been seeing it.
I guess.
All the clues were there.
I feel like it's been kind of buried in the amount of nonsense this game has.
And this game has a lot of nonsense.
It's like 80-90% nonsense with like 10 hours of interesting story stuff.
And it is one of the best games we have ever played for this show.
How does it compare with Vampire the Masquerade?
That game was so good. It had everything. It had racism. It had sexism. It had poor portrayals of sex workers. It had a
So
structural
almost as good
class
as
hierarchy.
Bard's Tale is what you're saying.
almost as good as Bard's Tale. Very similar to Bard's Tale in the number of musical numbers.
It's true.
That's
What
true.
is a songstress if not a bard?
It's Len, Matthew.
Oh, okay.
It's like Len has been squished up into this glass bauble, and then like if you use it to dress up pretty, you're also like exposing yourself to this person's life and memories. It's real weird.
I know y'all just talked about it for an hour, but I did not pay a lot of attention because it was nonsense. So even though I did just listen to all of this, I still don't know what you're talking about, and I would like to end the episode now.
1,000 words. So that was the end of chapter 4. We sort of talked about most of the mini games. There's the search sphere stuff, which I really liked. The Kilika door mini game, which I hated. And then there was a little dancing mini game, which was like a split screen with Riku dancing on one side and Yuna dancing on the other, but you had to like do inputs for both of them.
It was very odd. I didn't understand what I was supposed to be doing. It was ostensibly a rhythm game. I liked the setup of it, where it's like they were rehearsing their dance.
Yeah.
But it didn't make sense. Yuna didn't actually end up dancing in that
Riku.
manner during her show. Well, Yuna didn't either. Because they were doing
Riku
like a
wasn't
very
even there,
excited
was she?
dance. Riku wasn't there.
Yeah.
Riku was like, I get to be a backup dancer, right? But it was like a ballad song. It didn't have dancing or backup dancers.
You could when the beat drops, 1,000 words. You know, like you could probably dance at that point, but it's still like a romantic song,
yeah.
right?
But man, it was great.
It was great. Yeah. So I'd say of these mini games, Search Sphere, my favorite by a long shot. That was a lot of fun.
I'll agree on that point.
And next time, we're gonna finish the game.
Hooray!
Yay!
But now I'm not afraid to say what's in my heart. Though 1,000 words have never been spoken, they'll fly to you, crossing over the time and distance, holding you. Suspended on silver wings.
Matt has been so quiet this whole time. Why
What?
don't
Who,
we
me?
find out what he's squarely against?
Come on. That's not right. Still squarely against Yojimbo! That dude keeps party wiping me! Wow, wow, wow! What about you, John?
I am roundly for the concert and Ann Rice bullshit. This is like a love story that crosses 1,000 years and has ghosts and music and weird. I would watch a movie based on this story. I feel like I wouldn't watch a movie based on Final Fantasy X-1's story, but this would make like a good 2-hour movie. Vanessa.
I am also roundly for the concert. I really liked it. It's not the kind of song that I would normally like just jam out to and listen to, but I enjoyed it much more than I thought I would. I thought it was good animation, and I like seeing the power of song to bring people together.
And I honestly thought that when there were Yuna and Len were back to back singing together was like a beautiful moment. Mm-hmm. What a wonderful game.
It was a wonderful game.
All right. We have an email. Nat, since you've been pretty quiet, why don't you read the email?
Hey, squawooters. Just writing in during these confined times to say hello. And thanks, as always, for the great weekly episodes. They keep me company whatever I'm doing, whether it's drawing, cooking, or tidying. Any more complicated tasks are impossible to compete while listening to this podcast because of the intensely engaging discourse that constantly flows through each minute, winky face. I especially like your piercing commentary into the pop music of Spira. I have no opinions because I played this game about a decade ago as a drooling teenager. I was not drooling at the revealing costumes. No, sir/ma'am.
Don't believe them.
It was maybe the preferable state of mind to play JRPGs in a steady walking coma. I never picked up on any of the oddities and uncomfortable truths about Zidane, Squall, Cloud, etc. until much later. I just remember feeling slight unease about Tidus's voice acting and the awkward mannequin-like movements of the CG models in FF10. Anyway, that is one of the things I appreciate most about this podcast, that you guys are able to make fun of these old games, but they are still dear to you. I'm not an avid gamer now because it's the perfect kind of nostalgia to listen to for self-aware, funny and intelligent people discuss this topic. Like the vapid Kingdom Hearts plot, but such addictive gameplay. I loved playing Final Fantasy X Part 2 a lot as a teenager. At the time, the speedy but relaxing battle system was a fresh change from what I was used to. As a side note, I remember preparing myself to fight one of the optional ? Bosses later on in the game, no spoilers. I had to be prepared to basically rinse and repeat the same moves for about, well, something like half an hour maybe, or even more. I had a lot of biscuits. Smiley face. Wonder which of you will bother doing that side quest. Ha ha!
It's me!
Anyway, enough rambling. I hope you're all doing well during these long-ass strange times. Crystal. Smiley face. Anyway, that was our letter.
So,
Respond.
so what's this? Okay, since we're wrapping up with the last chunker, what's this boss? What do I have to do?
This boss is in the desert. You might have already seen this boss if you've been digging.
Yes,
Because,
I did see a tricky boss I had to run away from.
Yeah, it will show up, and you essentially just have to run away from it at this point. But if you go after this boss, then you can find them after you have done all of the cactuar things. So you have to catch all of them cactuars from the Cactuar Nation quest. Then you will be able to fight this boss. It takes maybe half an hour is a really short time, actually. I think for most people it takes about an hour.
What?
It has something like 340,000 hit points. It doesn't take a lot of damage. It is immune to a lot of different stuff. But I did it. I had to do it overnight, so I did some in the night, and then I put my PS4 in rest mode and went to bed, and then I got up in the morning and finished it. And then I suppose you get some kind of reward. I really don't remember what it was, so it probably wasn't worth it.
But I'm glad you like the. Thanks for all the kind things you say about the podcast.
Yeah, it's really nice to hear. Especially as we are all feeling a little bit down this week. It is nice to get something to make us feel nice and up. Now we're going to talk about the Patreon. Matt's going to tell you all about it, and then he's going to read some names.
I think Matt just did the email. I can tell you about the Patreon.
Yeah, Matt just did the email. That's my point. Just.
Oh.
As in, only.
Fine. We have a Patreon. Ladies and gentlemen, you should sign up for our Patreon at patreon.com/squarerootspodcast. We have 2 lovely tiers. Tier 1, the $3 tier, allows you to listen to all of our bonus content. That's right, we do what every podcast does. We release bonus content and we make you pay money. But you know what? It's pretty good. We like to do Square Roots Versus, where we play or sometimes watch something a little off of our usual topic. We like to do Square Roots Instant Classic, where we played Final Fantasy VII Remake recently and talked about it. We like to do other weird stuff sometimes too. We also have a $5 tier. Yes, $5. I appreciate the fact that it seems high, but keep in mind that tier allows you to vote. That's right. You get to vote on our games. You know, what other podcast offers that? Probably lots. But we do too. So we have a little special treat now. At the end of each episode, we like to read a full list of all of our patrons, no matter what tier or even if they are not in a tier. And we're going to do that right now. Jim, take us away.
Vanessa's fourth mom, PJ Ann's, Justin Rash, Wedge Coon, he's new. Metal Gear Solid 1 in 2021, Race Jenkins, Mostly Rational Person, Bree Girth, Heidi Ho, Justin Ham, That One Guy, Adam Zimmerman, Hudson Roth, Paul Bursch, Ben Charlwood. Hey Ben, you're new. What can I do for Nooj? Stu Skeel, The Mighty Monarch, Robert J. Defendi, Andy M., Robert M. Pullum, Aaron Bachman, Chris Ryan, Sean Walsh, Andrew Leinart, Christopher Haynes, David
Amos?
Green, Miguel Torres, Lex Averial, OMG, what is this game? Rising Hopper. I'm basically turning into a guy from King of the Hill now. Rising Hopper, G. Bailey, give me Persona 4 in 2020, or give me Jim's Place on the podcast. Jake Dickerson, Matthew Newland, Devin Sloan, T. Bumpkins.
We'd also like to thank, while not doing an absurd impression of one of our co-hosts, Sin was right. Patrick Wubbs Bears, Sling Thing Ping Ringy Dingy, Eric Garvey, Gage Lacarite. I don't
It's
think I
fine.
did
cool.
that right.
Don't worry about it.
La Charite? La Charite?
La Charité, yeah.
Reddit is Harold Lauder. Hand and Eye of Vecna. What? Jonathan Ellsworth, Tracy Tanoff. Hey, Tracy. Hexagon, Mary, Queen of Scoffs, a slightly chubby Waka, Ryan Miller, Rusty Kamada, Jared Collins, Wash in the Wind, Amanda Douglas, 2 Dark Knights, a White Mage, and a Pizza Place, Andy Smith, Citrus C, Tom, Cyril the Wolf, Sean, Jordan McNeil, Joseph, Andre Rivera. Beaglesaurus is taking out a subprime mortgage loan from Get Good Nooj, Vanessa's mom, Christian Go, Isaac Wright. Vanessa, she said. Why is Vanessa's list like 3 names long?
Vanessa, come on. Let's do it.
Alexander, I'll do it when you stop bothering me. Is everyone going to be quiet this time?
You know I'm going to talk as soon as you start.
I know. It's a real conundrum because I have to do it, but you are going to talk. And so what do? Here's what I've decided to do. I'm going to do it. And when you talk, I'm going to pretend that you are not talking to me.
Maybe I'm like a pretty bird in your ear.
I don't want you in my ear. So I am just going to drown you out like so much noise of an air conditioner running in the background. Alexander Jokic, Lair of the Clairol, Mike Crawford, Joshua Bennett, Saving Sid, Mr. Mallard, Wonder Swan, Stephen Crock, Galendo, Aaron Little, Nathan Poirot, Brian Pitt. F2 is the WarioWare of Final Fantasy, A Cup of Coffee, Captain Awesome, Robert T, Scrumpy Baggins, Grey Code, All Alone in the Time of Corona, Benjamin Avner, Tyler Petty, Chris Wilder, The Phantom Scofflaws of the Opera, Matt Jorgensen, Payne's Secret Dress Fear can be found at Hot Topic, Andrew, Sam Harrison, DeJethro, Ward Childress, Jameson, Nawford, Still Just No.
Cow.
You make Sulk sad, Andy
You
Fest.
make so sad. Oh, it's me. I'm done. I get to talk when someone else is
Let
reading the
Una
names.
sing.
But I can't handle it
Cake
if someone
Ninja.
else talks when
Sean,
I'm reading the
I
names.
can handle
That's
it
too weird.
fine.
Cacao,
Sean
wow,
Gonzalez, Akiva
I'm
Moser,
Johnny.
Chris Piniak,
You don't
Kevin
seem to be
Walter,
handling it nearly as well as you
Pearson.
claim to be handling it, Johnny.
I think I'm enjoying it more than Vanessa does. Ethan G. Pearson, Kevin Walter, did I say that one? Chris Piniak, James Hostetler, Randy Pierce, Cameron Shoei. The pen was mighty indeed. Ari Corpivara, Chief Hazard built. Armin Hammer, Ross Hartley, Black Lives Matter, Fine, Dr. Fine, say everyone's name, Sammy Mitchell, Sexy Grandma's boy toy is Grayson. Matthew Casterline, Stephen Paget, George Brady, Brady A. Berman, Florian Jonas Kramer, Huxley Iguana, Mitchell Jarman. What can I do for Nooj?
cooter gets sloppy for you. Sorry.
Ben Davis, Alex
That was terrible.
Doulard, Jonathan Smith, Kamiwaka is what Ron calls an excellent night out, and Kenny Sloth. Send us an email. You know our email address. It's squarerootspodcast@gmail.com. If you absolutely cannot be bothered to send an email, please come see us at our Facebook group, the Square Roots Podcast Group for smart, cool, very attractive people. Actually, just do this first. It's better. And tweet at us at Square Roots Pod. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts. And thanks to Lacey Johnson for her awesome cover of Real Emotion. Links to the video and Lacey Johnson Music's YouTube channel are in the show notes. Back to Vanessa.
Let me take my diaper off, Grayson, and we can go to town on each other.
I don't like that. No. Oh, let's see. John already did all of this, so now all I have to do is to say for Square Roots, I'm Vanessa. For Square Roots, I'm Vanessa.
I'm Johnny Brandon.
She said, I'm Matt.
Oh, sorry about the mess, folks. We'll try to do better next time.
So then I met Igor, and he was like, I have a secret to tell you. You have to sign this contract, and it's going to give you magic powers. And then I woke up, and I was like a young man, and they were like, ooh, you're starting new school today. And I was like, what?
Far beyond the hazy borders of my heart, I can see a place. It's something like this. Every now and then, I don't know what to do. Still, I know that I can never go back. All the things I've seen in those hazy dreams can't compare to what I'm seeing now. Everything's so different that it brings me to my knees. And oh, I know the world of real emotion has surrounded me.
What do you think about that? I have been... What? Were you going to say something? Were you going to say something about what you do during my level up?
I listened to How Did This Get Made. Does
This
that
is
make
the
me a
time for my-
podcaster?
Nah.
A listener?
No. That's practically a YouTube show, let's be honest.
No?